Right, let's work on day 21. Getting close. 5 more to go. RPG Simulator 20XX. Little Henry Case got a new video game for Christmas. It's an RPG. He needs to know what equipment to buy at the shop. He hands you the controller. Okay, there's a link to game controller at Wikipedia. In this game, the player, you, and the enemy, the boss, take turns attacking. The player always goes first. Each attack reduces the opponent's hit points by at least 1. The first character at or below 0 hit points loses. Damage dealt by an attacker each turn is equal to the attacker's damage score minus the defender's armor score. An attacker always does at least 1 damage, so if the attacker has a damage score of 8, the defender has the armor score of 3, the defender loses 5 hit points. So if you attack with damage of 8, you subtract the 3 from the armor, and you get 5. The defender has a score of 300, that defender would still lose 1 hit point. Your damage score and armor score both start at 0. They can be increased by buying items in exchange for gold. You start with no items and have as much gold as you need. Oh, sweet. Your total damage or armor is equal to the sum of those stats from all of your items. You have 100 hit points. Here's what the item shop is selling. So we have some weapons, we have some armor, we have some rings. You must buy exactly 1 weapon, no dual wielding. Okay. Armor is optional, but you can't use more than 1. You can buy 0 to 2 rings, at most 1 for each hand. You must use any items you buy. The shop only has 1 of each item, so you can't buy, for example, 2 rings of damage plus 3. Okay. For example, suppose you have 8 hit points, 5 damage, and 5 armor, and that the boss has 12 hit points, 7 damage, and 2 armor. We do this. In this scenario, the player wins barely. The boss goes down to 0 hit points. Oh, I see. The player got down to 2 hit points. So that's what a barely win condition looks like. You have 100 hit points. The boss's actual stats are in your puzzle input. Okay. What is the least amount of gold you can spend and still win the fight? All right. So first, let's get our puzzle input. Day 15, day 21. Into input 2015-21 text. Cat. I don't want to do that. Oh, okay. So we have a very simple thing to parse. The boss has 109 hit points, does 8 damage, and has 2 armor. So I guess the boss doesn't buy any of this stuff. The boss has always got fixed stats. So we could just hard code those in the file, but it's not hard to parse them. So we'll just parse them. All right. This might take me a while because there's a lot of busy work to do. I don't see anything here that's particularly challenging math-wise. Like we don't have to do any special prime factorization or anything wonky like that. So I think it's just a matter of writing a routine that will do the things. And then we can think about maybe what part 2 might be, but I don't know. What's the least amount of gold you can spend? All right, so we just minimize. So we can just try all the combinations. There aren't going to be that many, right? Because you do 1 weapon, 1 armor, and a pair of rings. There's not going to be that many options. So let's go here. Let's go to mod. Let's stick in day 21 here. And here as well. And every so often, Rust Analyzer has an overly long loop turn and informs me of that fact, even though there's nothing I can do about it. Day 21. Mud. Why did I say mud? Mutt. Okay. And Vim, this. AOC. 2015, day 21. Oops, 21. Do we need to store anything? I think we need to store the objects, right? And we need to parse out the boss data, right? So we do this. The boss's hit points boss HP. Let's just do I-64 because maybe we don't have to worry about negatives that way. And then what was the other? Damage and armor are the other two. Boss damage and boss armor. 64. Okay, and then parse, we're going to open the file and we're going to read each line. Let line iter is equal to AOC lib read lines input 2015 21.txt, and then we're just going to split each one and read it. Let HP equal line iter next split once of colon space. And then this should be a stir, right? Oh, it's unknown. Why? Do I have to unwrap that? Oh, and again, we're not getting the errors. That's it. That's getting frustrating. Oh, line iter is a vec. Oh, I'm returning a vec, not an iterator. Okay, so that makes it even easier. Lines. So we can say let this is lines of 0 split once, right? And now that should be still unknown. Oh, this is returning, split once is returning an option? Okay. Oh, and then this, we have to add these guys in here. Boss HP 0, boss damage 0, and boss armor 0. All right, and then let me do a cargo clean real quick here. Cargo clean, so that we can get this build to build. All right, and then we have a bunch of warnings, but that's fine. All right, so the next thing we need to do is, so we've split once here. Oops, here we go. So we just say boss self boss HP is HP dot parse. I wonder if it can infer the type. Let's find out. It can, so I don't have to specify I64 there. It knows because boss HP is I64. Okay. So then let damage is lines of 1 split once. Self boss damage is damage parse unwrap, and then we have one more for the armor. Okay, and then we should be able to say println. Oh, we got to debug out. So we can say println this, and self. Okay, so boss HP of 9, boss damage of 8, and boss armor is 2. Perfect. All right, so for us, we need to have all of this data. Oops, this would be the thing to parse, right? But we can just hard code it. We can create an item struct. Let's throw that down here just to get it out of the way. Struct item, and items contain the weapon, the name, the cost, the damage, and the armor. So name, string, cost. I guess we're going to do everything with I64s. Damage I64 and armor I64. And now we want in here, we can put weapons. There's a vec of item. We could put armor. as a vec of item, and we could put rings as a vec of item. And here, what we'll do is we'll just create these. Let weapons equals vec, bang, item. Let's create an item new function. Impl new, sorry, item, fn new. That way I can just put the name, string, cost I64, damage I64, and armor I64. Returns a self. And this is just self, name, cost, damage, armor, and then we're done. Right? Oh, it doesn't like that because did I forget something over here? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, so item new. Let's just put in one of them, dagger. Oh, let's make that a stir. And I just say name to string. All right. Item new dagger 840. Right, so that's that. I'm just going to put one now just to get it to compile. Armor equals vec item new leather 1301. And oops, that should be like that. And then let rings equals vec bang item new damage +1. I'm putting the names in here, but we're not actually going to be using them, are we? 1 0 like that. Okay. And does that build 6 errors? Oh. Oh, right. And then I need to add these guys in here. Weapons, armor, rings. Oh, and then item needs to have debug. Okay, so now we have, this says we have 8 warnings, this says you have 7 warnings. I think this one must be ignoring the warning you had warnings warning. Yeah, there's an extra warning here. There's one extra warning saying that we generated warnings. This is like the most useless warning that there is. All right, so part 1 is still unsolved because we haven't solved it yet. Okay, so this is all set up right. So now we just put in the remaining items. Right. This very nicely formatted this up here for me, which is making things go a little slower, but we'll get there. Comma, comma, and comma. So now we can just copy paste. We have short sword, warhammer, longsword, and great axe. Short sword, warhammer, longsword, and great axe. And then the values are 10, 25, 40, and 74. And then this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that's that. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. Okay, so then here, chainmail, splint mail, banded mail, and plate mail, right? So while these are all lined up, let's see, 13, 31 just means swap those two things. 53, 75, and then 102. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So then this is chain mail, splint mail, banded mail, and then plate mail. There we go. And now we just have to do the rings. So damage, these damages become defense. And this is 3, 2, 3, 2. This is 50. This is 100. That's 20. That's 40. And that's 80. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3 here. And then 0, 0, 0. And this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's those. So now we just need to loop over everything. The only tricky part's going to be the rings, right? Let's see, this should build, yeah. The rings, you can buy 0 to 2 rings. What's the best way to do that? I guess what we can do is we can insert a nothing item in there. That doesn't cost anything, but doesn't do anything. Actually, 2 of them, right? So what I'll do is just do a loop over all these pairs, and I'll generate a vector. Actually, that should be. Can I do this? Item 2. And then here we're going to say ring list, and then let mot rings equals vec new for I in 0 dot ring list -1 for j in I +1 dot ring len list len, right? And now we have pairs of rings. Rings dot push ring an array of ring list of I, comma ring list of j. And that'll be our rings. That work? That does not work. Unclosed delimiter. Oh. And now it doesn't like that. Ring list has type vec item. Yeah, so. Oh, ring list dot len, like that. And this has a move. So now we have to clone these items. That's fine. We're only doing it once at the beginning. Here we go. Okay. So now we have all the rings, we have all the armors, and we have all the weapons. So now I think we just go through each one for W in self weapons, for A in self armor, and for R in self rings. What we need to do is create a player object that has these values for. Okay, so we need to create a combatant. Pubs. Oh, that's right. We're going to do that down here. Struct person. And the person has HP, damage, and defense. Right? Just scanning this. Attacker has a damage score of 8 and defender has an armor. Oh, so okay, let's call it armor score. So we have a damage score and an armor score. And then we'll say import person fn new of HP, damage, and armor. Return self, which is just self of HP, damage, armor. I think that'll make the code a little cleaner. So now each person we can create, well, I can create a player with the specific information, right? Let player equal to, so let player is person new. So the hit points, so you have 100 hit points, right? It says it right here, you have 100 hit points. So we just put 100 in there. Then for the damage, we're going to say W dot damage. Yes, damage plus, and A always has no damage. Armor has no damage, so the rings might have damage. So R0 dot damage plus R1 dot damage. And then comma, A dot armor plus R0 dot armor plus R1 dot armor. The boss is equal to person new self boss HP, self boss damage, self boss armor. Let's see if this compiles. It does. So this all works. And now we just need to have them battle. So let's create a little battle simulator. And then we can run it with a test here, right? So how does this work? For every time you, let's create in here, we can say fn, and all we care about is whether or not you win, right? And then we can add up the cost of the items you're wearing, and that'll tell you, so would win against, and then we just have the opponent. Actually, what we can do is we could destructure the opponent, right? Because a person, I forget the syntax for this. HP, damage, armor. Is that the format? Do I have to put a colon something? Yeah, colon person. Yeah, I don't know why you would have to say person. You think you could figure out this side of things, but okay. So now, how do we do the battle? Who battles first? I guess the player starts. So we need to say the damage, player damage is going to be equal to the self damage minus armor, right? So the armor of the other of the other person you're battling, and then so then the other person's HP gets damaged, right? And then if HP is less than or equal to 0, oh, we're going to return true or false depending on if you're going to win against that person. So if you killed the other person, you return true. And now they get to hit. So let boss damage is going to be equal to damage minus self armor. So it's just flipped the other way around. Oh, we need to calculate the HP. So let HP equals self HP. And we need to make that mutable so we can do this in a loop. Right? And then we can just say, oh, we can't use HP, player HP like that. Because I used the boss HP up here. So then player HP minus equals boss damage. What if this goes negative? Oh, wait, there was a rule for what if it goes negative. If the defender had armor, oh, the defender would still lose 1 hit point. Right, the attacker always does at least 1 damage. Okay, gotta factor that in. So whichever is bigger, this thing or 1. Right? Is that the right way around? Yeah, if this is bigger than 1, then we do this much damage. If this is 0 or less, then we do 1 damage. Okay. Good catch. And now we say if player HP is less than or equal to 0, return false. And then we continue through the loop. And then hopefully it doesn't have an infinite loop. All right, it can't be because we're going to always at least take away 1 damage each time from each player. So now we have would win against. Let's see if that builds. It does not. Oh, because these are not mutable. Let mute boss HP equals HP. Boss HP. Oops. How's that? That work better? Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, this was a reference. Without this thing, this is a reference to an i64. But if I put that in, then it's just regular i64. Perfect. We still have 8 warnings. Oh, because we're not... Oh, yeah, because we're not using anything yet. So let's find out. Let's find out what happens here. Let's comment these out for now. And what we're going to do is just do a quick battle here. And we can print out the results, right? I can say let player equals person new. Suppose you have 8 hit points, 5 damage, and 5 armor. And let boss is equal to person new. 12 hit points, 7 damage, and 2 armor. And then we're going to say println just to print it out, because this will print out true or false, so we can see if that works. Player would win against boss. Right, and then let's just print out these things here. Println, the player deals 5 minus armor equals player damage. The boss goes down to boss HP hit points. And then we can just copy that here and paste that here, and now says the boss deals damage minus, oh, I forgot to put in the self damage here. And it's self armor, right? And then this is not player damage, but boss damage. And then this becomes player HP. So now we can actually see it play. Let's see. How close is that to the output? The player deals 5 minus 2 equals 3, down to 9. The boss deals 7 minus 5 equals 2, down to 6. Player deals 5 minus 2 is down to 6. 4, 3, 2, and then 0. And then we return true, saying that the player wins, barely. Okay. So now that part's working, right? We can delete these printlns. We don't need to know that. We can just print out the word true and be done with it. And then let's get rid of this test code. Oops. And we can take away the comments there. And now what we do is we say if player would win against the boss. Oh, then we need to know the total cost. So our current cost is going to be, I don't know, where do we start? We start with a high number, right? If I put 1,000 in, that would be fine, right? Because the maximum it could be is 100 plus 80 for 2 rings, plus 102. Oh, let's just do that. Let mut max min cost, right? Because we're saying the least amount of gold, right? So the min cost is going to be equal to the most expensive weapon plus the most expensive armor plus the most expensive 2 rings, which is 100 plus 80. And then we can say if the player would win against the boss and the total cost, I guess we could calculate the cost inside here, right? Let cost is equal to, it's a premature optimization, but that's fine, is equal to W cost plus A cost plus R0 cost plus R1 cost. If cost is less than min, oh, we just put it there. We say min cost is equal to min cost dot min of this. Right? And then we just have to output the min cost. All right, we have 2 warnings. 1 warning. Oh, we're not using the name. Yeah, I guess we don't need the name after all. It's a nice to have, but not needed to have. Let's just do that, just so we have them. 111. I don't know. It feels wrong, but look, let's give it a shot. Oh, it is right answer. Look at that. That's good news. Is there anything we could do to clean things up? I guess not. This is good. This is pretty good. Let's run Clippy on it. Clippy's happy. Let's check it in. Git status. Oh, git add input. I forgot this. Git commit -m 2015 day 21 input. Git add source. Git status. Git commit -m 2015 day 21 part 1. Done. Okay. I think I'm almost out of time, but let's see what I have to stop at 9 or around 9 a.m. my time. So it turns out the shopkeeper is working with the boss. Ooh, and can persuade you to buy whatever items he wants. The other rules still apply, and he still only has 1 of each item. What's the most amount of gold you can spend and still lose the fight? Oh. Alrighty. What's the most amount of gold we can spend and still lose the fight? So that's kind of the opposite problem, right? We're going to start with 0, and then we're going to see how high we can go if we would not win against the boss. So it's the same thing, except, okay, let me max cost 0. That's the easier one, right? For W in. Let's just grab these lines. We still create the player and the boss. We just need to just to see if not player would win against boss, then our max cost is going to be equal to our max cost. Oops. There. Max cost is this. Like that? Is that the only thing? And then we can just put max cost here. 1 error. Oh, player dot would win against. Oh, and then we're going to run it. 171. That's not the right answer. The answer is too low. Huh. Okay. I wonder what else we could end up doing that would... Okay. Let's go back here. Maybe I misread something. You must buy exactly 1 weapon, right? So we're going to choose one of these guys. No dual wielding. Armor is optional. Oh. Armor's optional. Oh, I forgot to say. Answer is too low. Okay. Armor is optional though, so maybe, but that would just reduce the cost, right? So if armor is optional, we can change these here. I may have typoed one of these numbers as well. Let me just double check all the numbers. 8, 10, 25, 40, and 74. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those are all zeros. And we have 0 for now, right? 13, 31, 53, 75, and 102. Those are all zeros. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And then here we got the 2 nothings. 25, 1, 52, 103, 21, 42, and 83. Okay, so those all look right. I stuck the nothing on there. Let's see if it changes the answer. It did. Huh. Why would that be? I'm very confused. Anyway, it's bigger. And it's the right answer. Huh. Adding a nothing here actually increased. Oh, maybe because I had to spend more on rings. I didn't print out what we're wearing. Now I'm curious. We got this solved, but now I'm curious. Let's save what we're equipped with when we calculate this out, and then we can print it at the end and say what we were wearing. So we can say let equipment equals vec new, and then we could just say here equip equals vec bang of weapons, armor, ring 0 and ring 1. I have to clone those, right? Like that, and then I can just print that out. Println wearing equip, debug out. Okay, so for the correct answer, we're wearing, we have a great axe. So this is where the name comes in handy. The chainmail and no rings. Interesting. And if I take this line out, then it's 171. We're wearing great axe, chainmail, and no rings. Okay. I must have gotten this wrong then, right? Oh, right, duh. We only want to do it if the cost. Yeah, I'm not printing the right thing. I want to print out, I mean, you got it right there, Dusty. I'm not doing the right thing. I want to print out the cost if only, I only want to change equipment if the cost is lower. Cost is equal to this. So now I want to say let cost, and I want to say if cost is greater than max cost, then set the equipment, and then set the max cost. There. Okay, so now it's dagger, no armor, a damage +3 and a defense +3 is 188. And if I don't have the option to not wear armor, the biggest cost is 171 with the dagger, a leather armor, a damage +2 ring, and a damage +3 ring. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, so I'm going to undo all of that change because I don't want any of that in there. I just want to have max cost. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. I think this is still going to be 188. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, this was a very easy problem to solve. It was just a lot of busy work figuring out the calculations for the battle, right? It was just doing the battle stuff and getting that right. This might have been the only tricky thing if I not remembered that, or I didn't think about this going negative and saying what happens when this goes negative, and then I remembered that we have to do at least 1 damage each time through the loop. But yeah, I got the data structure right, I think, so I think that made it a lot easier. This would be nicer to do without having to do this if we had a combinatory algorithm. Right now I have a thing that does combinations, but it does all combinations. It would be nice to say, okay, limit it to just pairs or triples or quadruples or whatever. say, give me everything with n combinations. And I don't have that code yet. That's something I should look into. Not right now, though. Okay, so this works. Git commit -am 2015 day 21 part 2, and unfortunately I'm out of time, which is a shame because I'd like to keep going.